the whole point of me walking around in the township and be like, man, don't cry. It's only hurting me on the inside. And I can't even open up to the closest people. I can even open up to my family. I can't even open up to my partner. I can't open up to my close friends. So,
hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Giving Stream Podcast. Today we're gonna dive more into mental health, men's mental health, and we're gonna go a little bit more in depth with culture, breaking stigma, and why men don't go to therapy. So before we get right into it, we'll have our guest introduce himself.
Hello guys. My name is Asa, rather Asa Kundri. I don't know what should I say, but I'm an NW graduate. I'm studying my postgrad in sociology. I stay in Poch, working part-time, studying. I like sports, like food. So those are the kinds of things that I like. And I feel like mental health is such a personal topic for me because I have had friends or people that were affected by these kinds of issues. So I felt like it's a very personal topic for me. So yeah, that's me.
I like that. No, thank you so much for joining us. And you've already touched on how it's very personal to you and how most probably you've also experienced such. And today's topic being about us breaking stigmas and culture and why men stay silent. It's gonna be a good episode today. So sit tight and enjoy.
Yes. Okay, so for our first question, what are some of the things that you were taught, especially from your culture and from background, past men, men in your life, your father, your grandfather? What have they taught you about mental health?
I feel like it's more of what did they not teach me, because in my culture we rarely talk about mental health. It's a thing of, as a man, you just look at what other men are doing and then you just follow. So in a sense, there's not really an open space where men can gather and then discuss that, okay, if you're feeling this way, you can come to me as your grandfather, you understand? So it's more of what they didn't teach me more than what they did teach me. So there's a lot of be a man in a lot of cultures.
Okay, wow, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And what sources then have you looked towards in order to help you with your mental well-being?
Personally, when I was still in high school, I feel like throughout my life, before I came to university, there was very little knowledge I knew about mental health. There was a point in my life where I thought men don't have depression, men don't have stress. There was a point in my life where I was like, because I'm a man, I have to go through these things and I have to man up and toughen up. And it's just a comfortable zone where men put themselves and be like, no, I'm experiencing this because I'm a man. I have depression because I'm a man. But then the more I studied mental health in my modules and then here, I realized that no, there is an answer and the answer is to get help. So those are some of the things that I used. I know education is not accessible to everyone. So not everyone will go to university and get to experience that mental health is this and this and this. But for me, the thing that helped me the most to understand my mental health, I think it's coming to university and just the diversity that I experienced here when it comes to mental health.
I really like that you said that. I think it even touched on the next question that I was going to ask about whether does society actually play a role in teaching you about mental health. And as you said, within the environment that you've been in, having experience in university has changed your view about mental health.
Yeah.
And even with that, looking into the people that we surround ourselves with and as well as the community that we are in. So yeah, I like that. And as someone in your 20s, right, do you feel like young men today feel like they are comfortable to speak about mental health?
No, I don't think so, because the conversations that I have that are most genuine, especially when I'm at home, is with people that are older than me.
Oh.
Those are the most those conversations. They're more comfortable in sharing things. They're like, Asa, if your wife is doing this, if your girlfriend is doing this, you can do this. us some men struggle with this, depression, anxiety. But then when you're with the younger generation, like 16, 17, they don't talk about that. And when I look back at my age when I was 16 and 17, I was going through mental issues and I was also not talking. So with the younger generation, I feel like they don't open up that much, mainly because of the be a man kind of connotation, like you just have to be a man. But with the older generation, it's very easy to find a 35-year-old talking about depression. But when it comes to 16-year-old, 17, 18, it's very tough. I feel like also peer pressure.
Yeah.
It also constitutes, because I can just recall if I was 16 and going to therapy, like I feel like I would lose my aura in the streets. Like no one would respect me. Like if they see me walking in the clinic every Wednesday for group therapy sessions, I feel like that would ruin my street creed, you know. So that's the thing that I feel like young people are not talking enough about mental health, and they're going through those things. And that's a vulnerable age because they're still developing, they're still in the adolescent stage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things they don't understand and they're just not talking about it. So I don't know who to blame though.
I like that.
Wow. So how would you not advice, but like how would you go about like with young people not talking and seeking therapy? How do you think that we as like, can I say the older generation? No, we're not older generation.
Why not?
We in like our 20s, like young adults. How can we be better able to help people that are younger than us, especially like men? Like, how would you feel like you'd want to approach mental health if you were 16? How would you wish someone would approach you?
I feel like an open space, like what we're doing here. There should be more open spaces. I feel like communities also should like actively engage into reaching out to the youth. Because most of the time when you hear like motivational speakers going to schools and then talking to the young generation, they talk about education, you need to pass, you need to study. But they rarely dive into like, guys, let's just sit down, have an open space and talk about mental health. They rarely have that chance.
I like that. You know, I really like what you said that Billy, I think it was even educational to me, that it's easier for a 30-year-old man to like sit down with you and be like, yo, this is what it is.
Surprising.
Yeah, and then unlike when you're with your friends or your peers, it's a little bit more difficult. But as you're saying that, then that means the responsibility also lies in those that have the knowledge. Could say, hey, this is actually what it is. Because even within that age that's so tender as 17, 20, you're not really quite sure what is it. You're going to go talk to your friends that are also facing the same thing and you have no idea what's going on. So it was very educational to me to be like, hey, it's actually even the older generation's responsibility to be like, hey, we go through such things as men as well. I like that.
So we know that we have, families have different expectations for men and cultures also have their own expectations of men. But how do you think that those expectations shape the way men deal with stress or emotional problems?
Like cultural expectations.
Mm-hmm. Cultural or family.
I feel like one thing that I was thinking about when you invited me with this topic, I first thought of like the cultural man. Every culture has its own definition of a man. Mm-hmm. So when I come and approach a guy and I'll be like, this is how in my culture we tackle this kind of a situation. And then he's going to have his own opinion. And that's going to be, it's an argument already. So me and that guy, let's say a Zulu guy and a Venda guy, trying to talk about mental health, there's no basis. Because he has his own cultural man that has been instilled in him. And then I have my own cultural man, a Venda culture, a Venda man, and he's a Zulu man. So I feel like if we find like a basis of understanding, because South Africa is a very diverse country, so we can't expect all men to behave the same. We can't expect all mental health to be this, mental problems to be the same. So I feel like if we just find a basis of communication with different cultures and be like, this is where we meet as men, either you're Venda, Pedi, Tsonga, if we meet here, and not put away our cultures, but let's try to understand each other. Let's try to understand why this man is struggling with this.
Yeah.
Just to like to combine the cultures in a way.
I like that. I have a healthy basis, a healthy foundation, and then go on from that. Add the cultural onto that. No, that's wonderful.
I feel like I low-key disagree with you though, because I feel like I don't know. I feel like majority they are, as much as there are cultural differences. I also feel like there's a lot of things that men experience that are the same. Like I feel like across the cultures there are people that still have like depression in men, which is like specific, not specific, but like collectively it goes to all men, not just a specific culture. And then I also feel like there are ways that I think also culturally they do separate each other. Like maybe you'll feel like this tribe or culture is more powerful than this one, and then that also creates tension. So maybe it starts with maybe first like having a specific culture and then having their own, can I say, way of dealing with mental health together before you get all men together. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, because I don't know, but yeah.
No, like that makes sense. Like I get it too. So just as much as I say you've been talking about man up, and I'm sure there's other phrases about like
Men don't cry.
men don't cry,
yeah.
men don't talk, men stay quiet, da 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 da. All of them. So I want us to actually dive deep into the effects of these messages. Like, how does it affect you as a man?
Of these messages that I get of men don't cry.
Yeah.
The truth is men do cry. That's true. It's factual. If I'm hurt, at some point I need to cry. But the whole point of me walking around in the township and be like, men don't cry, it's only hurting me from the inside. And I can't even open up to the closest people. I can even open up to my family. I can't even open up to my partner. I can't open up to my close friends. So the person that gets the most damage is me at the end of the day, because I'm the one keeping all those emotions. I feel like it's even hard to like address how you feel towards a certain thing to your partner sometimes as a man. Because you feel like, what if they judge me? What if they think I'm weak for this? You understand? But at the end of the day, the more you keep those emotions, I feel like you don't express yourself how you feel, the more it forms an echo chamber in your brain, and then you start getting more ideas and more ideas. And a small issue can just end up being like a big issue because you've been overthinking it like for 2 weeks. So I feel like the person that's keeping those emotions, the person that's not crying, is the person that gets the most. They get hurt the most, and then subsequently they hurt people around them, because now I'm gonna be someone that's not a loose cannon, but I'm gonna be someone that's too emotional at home. I'm just gonna have like mood swings, and then the next thing we're gonna be having gender-based violence, all because of something that I could have talked about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it. So I feel like everyone gets hurt. It starts from the men, it starts from inside, and then it goes to the people outside.
Wow. So, like, just listening to what you're saying, that already this message affects the man, affects even those around them.
Yeah.
So these messages that we go around saying has negative influence and negative connotation towards the man.
Yeah.
So
And I think it hurts the most when it's like your loved ones are going around saying that.
nah.
Like imagine your mom is there just be like, yeah, no, men don't cry.
Yeah, tough
Or
it
your
out.
girlfriend is like,
Tough
be a
it
man.
out.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
just beat up. Like I feel like that would, if I was in that position, I would just feel like, I don't know what I would have done, but I would definitely feel like I couldn't open myself to this person. And I think a relationship cannot exist without vulnerability. At least some form of it. You know, you have to be willing to open yourself up at least a little bit, you know?
I feel like it hurts more because it comes from the people you least expect it from. It doesn't come from strangers.
That's true.
The people that will tell me to man up, in most cases, will be my friends. So I'll come to you as my friend, as
Not
my
us,
guy
though.
friend. No, not you.
Yeah, I'm just telling them.
But I'll come to my male friend and I'll be like, I'm dealing with anxiety. And then he'll be like, no, man, just sleep, man. You understand?
Just leave it.
Just drink Panad, you understand? And I least expect it from him because he's my friend. At least he should like say, I don't really have the professional help to help you with this, but let's try to deal with it like this. So it hurts most because it's coming from the people who least expect it from them.
But with that being said, I also feel like a lot of times men don't know how to help other men because they
Yeah,
haven't
that's
received
so
that
true,
themselves.
so true.
Yeah. I don't even want to say limiting it to men only. Also women.
That's
Everyone
true.
doesn't know how to help the other person. We struggle with that part, learning how to help.
But I feel like with women it's a bit easy because if she approaches you with a problem, you can just hug her, be there for her. With men, it's a bit tough. It's a bit tough for us to express those kinds of emotions. We'll sit there in the corner and then I'll sit here.
Yeah, it's a shoulder to shoulder conversation.
Yeah, I'll be like, all right, like, are you okay, man? Like, with you guys, it's better because you guys can express the emotions. Because I feel like sometimes when people are going through something, they don't really need help. They just need someone to listen to and be like affectionate. They need someone to see that whatever I'm saying, it's like I can see the emotion in your face. So sometimes you just need that. So for someone to just take in what you say. So with men, it's very hard for that. It's very hard.
Well, personally, I'm having different experience from my side. You know, I feel like it depends on the upbringing.
Yeah.
Male friends that I have, okay, I think they're gentle. They give you an environment where you can just, be easily to, share with them, and they can be able to, listen. And I feel like even with a therapist or a psychology, they first need to communicate with you in order for them to know how to, help you.
Yeah.
So it's same thing with some few friends that I have. They're like that. They give it an environment so that you should be able to express yourself. And then they'll know how to be able to support you. Of course, it's not all of them. Most of us guys, we make fun of each other. And which it's somehow rough. But then I know those few that they can be able to listen and create that environment. I think that's one thing that I can say it's amazing about them.
Yeah. That's nice. I like hearing the opposite side. Uti, there is men that are soft with each other and that are gentle and that are gonna be there for each other. A real true shoulder to cry on. That's cute.
How do you know when, okay, for me, I want to say, personally, this is like my own question. How do you know when a man is feeling sad and everything, or he just wants to express his emotions, or kind of I don't know, it's kind of just bring them alive? But how do you know if they want comfort, soft, kind of like a pat on the shoulder and just being like, oh no, everything's gonna be okay, versus maybe taking them out to a place where they can just smash things? How do you know which one guys would want? Because sometimes, guys do express emotion differently from others, from especially females. Because I know for me, majority of my female friends, when they are in need of support and mental mental support, basically, it's always kind of the same. It's always they want comfort food, and they want sad movies if it's a heartbreak, or they want the pat on the shoulder. But with men, I feel like because of them, there's so limited spaces for them to express themselves, they do it in different forms. So how would us as females know when to approach which situation? When they want to go paintballing or wrecking something, I don't know if we have that in South Africa. I think we do, but where it's those rooms where you just go and break things. I wish we had that in Port, but either way, so how do you know which one it is?
I feel like if he communicates.
That's the thing. What if they don't? What if they don't communicate that? It's someone that's really struggling to open up.
Then I feel like that's where the issue starts. Because if you don't communicate, how will you help them? And it's very hard to read someone.
I agree.
It's very hard.
Nah, but I feel like you also need to have that thing to want to know how to help them. You must also actively engage. Ask them, do you feel like you want to break something? Do you feel like you want to go cry? How are you feeling?
But how do you know that they're in that situation now?
No, but as you're saying, communicating, I need to ask you those questions as the girl. Because firstly, you don't know how am I going to react with you just telling me, I feel like wrecking something. I'm going to just be like, whoa.
Yeah, that's true.
that's time for me to go before you wrecks me. Kind of, that's how my mind would go. But because most probably you have those kinds of thoughts, I feel like it's our responsibility as a person that wants to help to ask the relevant questions on what help do you need. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're afraid to ask that question because in our minds we're supposed to know what to do.
But we can't read minds.
We can't.
No one can.
No one can. So therefore, I'm gonna actively ask, what do you think could help you? And then I'll throw maybe 2 suggestions. Do you wanna go wreck something? Do you wanna cry? Do you wanna cuddle? Like, what will help you? And then for me not to judge you with what
you answer.
Exactly, yeah. So, and as well, something that I thought of was, other than getting to know that person, I feel like we shouldn't be afraid to also refer them to professional help.
That's true.
I think sometimes we go to find professional help when it's too late or when it's tough. Go when the times are still good, when it's still soft, so that
When it's still a small problem.
Yes, when it still feels like a small problem, so that you also get the tools on how to cope. Sometimes therapy is not only for the counseling part, but it's also to just get coping mechanisms for one to regulate themselves and be able to, continue with life the way it's meant to be.
Yeah.
So, those are the thoughts that I have.
So with that being said, why do you think there are so many men that still hesitate to consider therapy?
There's a lot of stigma with therapy. I don't want to lie. There is a lot of stigma. And I think people associate therapy with someone going mad. They think if you go into therapy, you're somehow mad or you're mentally disturbed. You understand? For which is not. You can go for therapy because you lost your car. For instance, if you're struggling to deal with the fact that I lost my car, you can go to therapy for that. And then subsequently you can go to therapy because you lost your mother or your partner. So I feel like people just think like therapy is for like crazy people, especially from where I'm from. Like therapy is like crazy people. I remember I had an argument a few months ago, and I was on the side of never going to therapy. I don't want to lie. I think you were there. I was on the side of never going to therapy. But now, like, deep down when I think about it, it's not going to help anyone. If I know that I'm struggling, I'll be like, I'll never go to therapy. And even now when I think about it, I didn't even have any relevant reasons for not going to therapy. It's just me trying to protect my reputation, for which is not worth it. Like, I think my mental health is more important. But there's just a lot of stigma. There's a lot of stigma when it comes to therapists.
Yeah. Actually, even there was a follow-up question on that, whether are people afraid of therapy itself or like what are they truly afraid of? But as you're sharing, it bruises your ego. So it's not the therapy itself.
My street cred.
Yes, crazy.
Showing people will do anything for their ego.
People do anything for their ego. But I feel like therapy does help. I have a friend recently, they told me that they started therapy. And when the day they wanted to tell me, they backed out from telling me. We met up, we chilled, and I could see that this person wants to tell me something, but he keeps telling me about the World Cup, and then they backed out. And the following day we met up again, we chilled, and then they backed out. And then they actually typed it when they got home. They were like, yo, I wanted to tell you that I started therapy because of a certain experience I had last year. But it's the therapy at school. And I was like, I'm so proud of you, because at first when I read it, I was like, why are you weak? But I was like, no. This is not the kind of mentality we need right now. Because he's that masculine person in my life that I look to. But then now when he's doing therapy, I was like, why is he weak? But then I thought that for him to take the step to start therapy.
Actually very strong.
To even tell me as his friend that, yo, I started therapy. But then when we met up for the 4th time, he was like, I've been meaning to tell you this for like 2 weeks. That's when I realized we don't have an open, like, a safe space as men. He was afraid to tell me that he's doing therapy. Like, I consider him as a very close friend, but he couldn't open up to me and be like, Asa, I'm doing therapy. And I'm very proud of him that he took that step. He saw that his mental health is deteriorating, and whatever he was dealing with, he couldn't cope on his own.
I actually never thought about that. Like, you know, how everyone's like, you have to be tough, you have to be a man, you have to, you know, all of the things. I mostly thought it always comes from women and like other people that don't understand. But I think it hits different when it's coming from another man.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to have like, you know, for a man, I think it's even that's why I think it's so. I don't think the taboo topic is men don't want to open up. I mean, men don't want to attend therapy, or there's a stigma of men don't cry. I think it goes deeper than that, and it's the fact that men and a lot of other people, not just men, it's hard to open up. That's a fact. And then also takes a huge amount of vulnerability in order to go to someone and type in a message and just say like, I've been attending therapy. So I think it's also, you know, it's not just the stigma that society places on us, and, you know, but also like close friends and family. I mean, I think it's such an amazing opportunity to have that, where he felt comfortable enough to go to you. And I think that's like a huge step for him.
Yeah.
And that is off the chart. I would have been, you should be proud actually. I would have been ecstatic if someone had to tell me that they're in therapy. Not just because I study it, but just because like, you know, it's of the whole taboo thing.
Yeah.
I like that. And so now, if there was one thing that you'd want a young man to know, or that is maybe struggling to believe in therapy, what would you say to them?
I feel like, personally, I've never been to therapy, but I honestly think that it does help. There was a point in my degree where I studied psychology for a bit, and our lecturer always used to tell us that the more you don't talk about these things, the more they eat you. And as I said in the beginning, the more you don't talk about them, the more they eat you. And then after eating you, they go for the people that are close to you. You understand? So they start with you. I feel like the time your boyfriend's mental health is affecting you, he's already done for.
Yeah.
The time it reaches you, it's already too late. It's at that point where you are like, we shouldn't go to like therapists when it's too late. So I feel like the time when my mental health starts affecting my family, I feel like it's not too late, but I've already died inside because I didn't speak up. Because it started with me for 6 months. 6 months straight, I was depressed. I had anxiety. I couldn't sleep. And then the next following year, now it's starting to show because I'm angry at home. I'm moody at home. I'm breaking things at home. So I feel like young people, you need to understand that going to therapy is not weak. Like, it's not weak. Last month, I was on the other side. I said going to therapy is weak. But I feel like it's not. And I feel like also this experience with my friend, it also changed my mindset of therapy. Because I can see that someone close to me was suffering, and I couldn't see that. And he manned up, and he went to therapy. So I feel like it's very hard to detect someone that's depressed. It's very, very hard to detect someone that's depressed. I saw this video the other day. It was like this girl dancing, and she was so happy. And then the caption was like, she passed away after 24 hours. And then I was so sad when I saw that video. I was like, it's so sad that people are so happy with them. Like, people are so happy. They're all out and about, but we don't know what's really going on. So I feel like it's not too late to go to therapy. Young people need to engage more with therapists. Older people, not us, like older people need to also give an open space for young people to like, you can go to therapy. Us as the raising generation, I feel like we should also open up to them, like the teenagers and the adolescents, just to like create a safe space and a safe environment to talk about these issues.
Yeah. That's good.
I like how you were like defining all of that and like explaining all of that, and it made me think that you have a very big what's the word? Different meaning of what strength is. But what does strength mean to you now, and has it changed from when you were growing up?
Yeah, no doubt. Because when I was growing up, strength was about who can fight.
Who can fight?
Who can fight? If I can fight,
Lost in the battle.
Oh man.
if I can fight you, I'm strong. And then it progressed to who's smart enough, like the intellectual strength. Like who's smart enough. If I can like get 60 marks and then you can get 50 marks, that means I'm stronger than you in instant. And then now I feel like strength is about who can cope better with certain issues. If my partner does something to me, something very terrible, and I can tell myself that I'm just going to walk out of this room, not harm her, and then just go and find help. I feel like that's when you start to measure strength compared to someone that decides to say, I did this because she did this. You understand? So I feel like that the measurement of strength just keeps changing. So I feel like I'm not saying the strongest man is the one that walks away from the battle, but when it comes to like maybe a relationship type of a thing and it's a female and you, I feel like if you walk away instead of confrontations and fights, I feel like you're stronger than most guys. Because I know guys who have been in situations where they've been pushed to the limits and they walked away. And then now when they talk to me, they're like, I didn't lose anything from that. I didn't lose anything. And that sounds so strong when they tell me that. That sounds so strong. They come to me and be like, you remember when this and this happened? I'll be like, yeah. And they're like, I walked away because I didn't lose anything from there. And to me, I feel like they're so strong. Instead of someone that says, yeah, I did that. And they came to me and be like, yeah, I did that because I could do it. I don't think that's strong at all. But it also goes back to everything we're talking about, mental health. Those who won't walk away, sometimes they've just been through a lot. You understand? Sometimes they've just been through a lot.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Like, I love the way you put it. Like, strength has changed. I remember I was talking to a guy and he's like, hey, us as guys, if we step into a room and we look at the other guys and we size them up and we're like, this one I can move him, I got this. This one I can hit him. And I was like, you guys are so weird. Walk into a room and see if you can fight.
We can take on, like,
We
really.
can fight. Like, if anything were to happen, I could.
And then you get females' perspective walking into a room like, oh my god, she's so pretty.
Yay!
Nice earrings, like.
Right?
With men, when you walk into a room, you look at the easiest target. Like if it goes wrong, I have to be in front of him while we are running. You look at the easiest target. So
Oh my gosh,
That's it.
that's so crazy. But I really loved how, as you're growing and as you're also experiencing life, like your perspective of strength changes. I think that is just so wonderful. That is so beautiful because it's just showing how strength is not just a physical aspect, but it is an all-rounder, including, your personal well-being, and that's something I think we take for granted, our way of being strong mentally, physically, all of the above when I mean our well-being. So I really like that. Thanks.
Yeah, that was really awesome. So before we end and close our episode, we will jump into our favorite part of the episode, which is our game. Okay, so for our game, we're gonna be playing like a rating game. We were like rating different scenarios. So 1 will be not healthy, and 10 will be completely okay or very healthy. Okay, so our first statement or first scenario is a man has been struggling with anxiety for 6 months but hasn't told a single person because he doesn't want to burden anyone.
I think that's like a 1. It's not healthy at all.
Not healthy at all.
Not because they're not talking. And what do you mean you don't want to burden anyone? You don't have to carry the load alone. So it's.
I feel like a lot of people have that like perspective where it's like, I just don't want to burden anyone, so I'm just gonna bottle it up.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely not healthy. I don't think it's healthy at all.
Yeah, don't bottle your emotions, guys.
Don't.
Now, the second one is about the comment, man up, right? A father tells his 12-year-old son to stop crying and man up. How damaging is this statement?
1 being most damaging, and then 10 being very good.
Yes.
I think 4.
4.
It's not that damaging.
It's not that damaging.
I mean, he is a man, so at some point of his life, he has to man up.
But he's 12.
But we don't have to be too soft. I mean, he's not telling him to like go pick a fight with anyone. He's just trying to.
He's telling him to stop crying.
I get you, but at some point, he also has to understand that when his father tells him to man up, he's not saying like go be the champion of the world. He's a man. He's being raised as a man. But I don't think it's that damaging.
No, me, I think it's damaging. You know
Me
why?
too, because
Okay, I'll say true. Okay, true.
You know why? For instance, when somebody says, "Oh, you're so dumb," that's damaging. Now
That's
I'm
true.
walking around thinking I'm dumb, trying to prove to people that I'm not dumb. Like, you know, I walk around with that thing. Now, a boy is told, "Stop crying."
You were
man up."
crying.
Yes,
Oh,
he
I
was
didn't
crying.
hear that part. I didn't hear that part.
He was
You
crying.
repeated twice. Oh my word.
I didn't
Okay.
hear that part.
But it's
Okay.
But yeah, he was crying. So I would, if I was, what would be the perfect response? Okay, in my head,
Mhm.
I don't have a son, just so it's clear. I am not a man, just so it's clear. But I feel like I'd be like, okay, when you're done crying, let's go do something. Let's go.
Yeah, that way it's not invalidating his
yes,
feelings,
like-
but also.
It's giving that thing of Guti, you can't be crying all the time.
I feel like now since I heard the crying part, it just
Yeah.
changes it because I'm all for men crying.
Yeah, you
I'm
are.
all for men crying. So I feel like it is damaging. I feel like just finding your son and just talking to him, son, just be a man. Understand? I thought it's that kind of a situation. Like
No.
the father's
Let me
just
tell
teaching.
you, people think that, you know, in that moment when you're 12, 13 or whatever, when you're young, they think that it's not going to affect you.
It does.
Trust me, when I think I was like 12 or 11 and someone close to me told me, you're just useless. And I carried that for me for a very long time. It was something it stuck mentally to the point where it was like, okay, I have to like try at all means to please others. And I think till this day I'm still struggling with being a people pleaser because I'm a huge massive people pleaser because it's just of the words that hurt me back when I was young. So I don't know if that's, I can't say it's trauma, but in a way it kind of
Kinda
is.
yeah.
Because to have someone say men don't cry,
Yeah.
especially
As a 12-year-old, I feel like if he is crying, you need to open up and be like, give him a safe space.
Yeah.
Probably give him time to finish crying. Show them that you're not rushing him, so he must just cry in his own
Yeah.
time, and then like approach
When
him.
you're done.
When you're done, son, you want to talk about it. 'Cause
Yeah.
crying is a very
Yeah.
sensitive issue.
It is.
For someone to cry, that means there's a lot that's going on.
Yeah.
So if he's crying, man up, it's definitely damaging. It's definitely damaging, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, third scenario. A man goes to therapy every week but hides it from his friends because he's afraid they'll judge him. How understandable is his decision?
The decision to go to therapy or to hide it.
To hide
Hide
it.
It's not understandable, but if you're surrounded by people that you know they won't uplift you with your decision of going to therapy, keeping it to yourself might be the best decision. If I know that my friends are toxic and me telling them that I'm going to therapy might as well lead me to quitting therapy, I feel like keeping it to myself sometimes is the best choice.
Fair.
Yeah.
But if I know that my friends are very open and they'll accept me as I am going to therapy, I feel like you can tell them. So it depends on the type of people you're surrounded with. And the most important part is going to therapy. So if it helps me, if it helps himself, you can tell or you cannot tell people, but depends on the type of people you're surrounded with.
I like that.
I agree.
Now, our last one will be the strong friend. Everyone thinks he's the strongest person in the group, but he secretly is battling with depression. How likely do you think this is in real life?
The strong friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there are people who not act strong, but as society we just label them as strong. You understand?
Oh, okay.
And I
The
feel like
label.
labeling them as strong. And after labeling them, I feel like we exclude them from mental health problems. We're like, nah, he's too strong. To the
Could
point
never be
where
him.
nah, it couldn't be him. To the point where if you guys know that now Asa is the strongest guy I know, and then you hear that there's someone who committed suicide in my apartment, you'd never be like, nah, it can never be him. It can never be him. He's the strongest person I know. But most people that we label as strong, they're also battling with mental health problems. People that are weak also are battling with mental health. So I think it is damaging to like give labels to people. Even to give labels to ourselves, we'll be like, no, me, I'm very strong and I don't express myself. Yeah.
I like that. Wow.
Eliminating the labels.
Right,
Very
eliminating
important.
the labels. I like that. Yeah. Well, once again, thank you so much, to Asa for being with us, and for us to always remember, be the spring that gives life into your own soul.